We got ourselves something really special here. We got a creation that has so much 50s flair. We've got an old auto repair shop, a snazzy looking diner, a city street with a parade going on, as well as this awesome rock and roll concert that's going on in the ballroom. And to top it all off, it's built inside an old jukebox. There's a lot to take in here, so let's break down all the fun details in this video. This display is one of the pieces that can be seen at Relics, A New World Rises, an exhibit that combines real-world objects and LEGO brick-built models. The idea is that minifigures are the only people left on Earth, and they've taken up residence in these old and discarded objects that have been left behind. So to start us off, the first section of this jukebox has become an auto repair shop. It's great to see so much detail that's been captured in here. There's a ton of different Technic pieces on the floor that resemble different car parts that could be used to repair the car that they're working on. My favorite detail has to be these tiny shelves at the top here. These house different car parts and other junk and stuff. Using these little panel pieces to make these tiny itty bitty shelves, it's a really compact but very clever design. Now that's certainly cool, but another nice detail is this dude who's welding. There's even this nice lighting effect that really sells this moment and makes it feel so much more realistic. I love a good lighting effect like that. It actually does so much for this build and really brings it to life. Heading outside the auto repair shop, we can see the building's exterior, and that leads into this big bustling city street. There's a parade going on at the moment with this marching band, and I like the choice of the minifigure parts on this marching band. The uniforms that they're wearing, they are the torso and leg pieces from the Series 23 Nutcracker minifigure. That's a great way of repurposing those minifigure parts for something that's different but still feels very appropriate for those pieces, so it's a clever little part use. The buildings on this street all look fantastic, and there's just this nice positive happy vibe from all of the minifigures here. It's a joy to see. There's also these cool traffic lights at the back here, and these actually change from green to yellow to red. That's another great example of a unique lighting thing that can just bring this scene to life. Oh, and then below the city street are some sewers with a crocodile swimming around. That's another fun addition for sure. It's nice that when we zoom out on the actual jukebox, we can see that all these little nooks and crannies have been filled in with LEGO in some fashion, and putting the little sewer there was a nice little addition. Moving over to the diner, it's packed full of all sorts of great details. The walls are lined with a bunch of different printed tiles. Most notable on these tiles are the Beat Bit tiles from the somewhat recent theme video. Now these were just collectible tiles within the sets they came in, but they actually work perfectly as album covers that have been used as wall decoration. It's certainly the kind of thing that you would definitely see in a diner. Also, there's a few other different tiles from other different sets and themes and things, as well as some records and some guitars as well. All of these are some nice additions, but some of the coolest parts include the front of the car and these neon lights as well. Just seeing all these details on the wall is really fun. There's another nice inclusion of a specific printed tile. Now this one is a little bit different because it's not on the wall. It's some sort of burger menu here that's just by the door. Now this piece actually came from a SpongeBob SquarePants set. This one specifically. The fact that this is here is really nice. It's a small part. You probably wouldn't even look at this, to be fair. It's so tiny and it just gets lost in some of the other details. But I don't know, this makes it feel so much more lived in and realistic. Of course there's a menu at the burger shop. Why not actually physically put that into the build? I really love little details like this on a mock that might go overlooked, but when you do notice it, suddenly everything just comes to life. Overall, the vibe of this diner is wonderful. Everything from the checkered walls to the checkered floors, and also the curved tables with mustard and ketchup on each one of them, and you combine that with the red chairs. Everything about this just screams 1950s diner. It's so cool. Now up top is the ballroom with the band. The band itself is just kind of full of life. It's awesome. You couple that with the brilliant lights on the stage, it just creates a great atmosphere. The facial expressions on these figures do a lot here. I think minifigure facial expressions have come so far in modern times. You can have any kind of facial expression you want these days. And this is a great example of how picking out the perfect faces can really make a scene pop. One of my favorite things about this ballroom is the fact that it has multiple levels. We've got the main floor on the bottom, these two side areas, as well as the stairs that connect them, and then you have the stage itself, as well as these balconies up top. So adding in levels and elevation, I like this. It's very smart. It lets you take a very flat surface and not only make it more interesting, but it helps things not to be too cluttered or overwhelming. I mean, there's a lot of minifigures in this scene. It runs the risk of there being too many, and just the sheer amount of all this stuff can be so overwhelming that you just don't want to look at it because it's too busy. But now these figures are broken into areas, and it makes it manageable and not overwhelming at all. You've got these dudes dancing below the stage, then in a different area that's higher up and separated by a wall, you have people eating, and then on the opposite side you have people dancing. The fact that these are people doing different things, different activities, it's a great way of letting the scene breathe. There's always a delicate balance with how much detail you add in. Too much is overwhelming, and too little is too boring. So this little simple trick here of just dividing things up, making it a bit more manageable, separating it by a wall with elevation and stuff, it hits the nail on the head. There's just the perfect level of detail because of this. Oh, and of course you've got those two little smaller scenes up top on these balconies here, so that's a nice inclusion as well. So that's the Studs Diner. Now this jukebox rounds out my coverage of Relics and New World Rises. If you want to check out some of the other videos I've done on this exhibit, I'll put a link to the playlist in the description below. There's also still time to see this in person though if you want to. The show is on until the 23rd of July 2023, and then it'll be on in Melbourne from September 1st. Now there's plenty of new and old things to see at the exhibit, as well as details that I didn't cover in this video, so be sure to check it out. There'll be links in the description below so you can buy your tickets if you're interested. Thank you very much for watching guys, happy building, and bye for now.